I look at his new Pokemon, and then I think to myself, this could have been your Pokemon, Ash.
Pokemon Ranger! I choose you!
What's up, my dear boys and girls, it's your Ranger Boy here, and oh my god, welcome to another review of the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime, which is not late. And why wasn't I late? Because Ranger Serena basically kicked my butt and forced me to work early on this review. But how can I be late? Especially since it's the beginning of the Alola League. With episode 128, the curtain rises, the Alola Pokémon League. And honestly, this episode really had everything, from really good to really, not so good. So if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, then grab some popcorn, grab some cookies, and let's do this. So like many of us, our Alolan gang have excitement written all over their faces because they finally entered the Manalo Stadium, the place where all the, hopefully, exciting battles will take place. But even though we barely have arrived, we already celebrate a return. The return of Aether Lily, aka Best Lily! And best Alolan girl she is, because even though Kukui doesn't really have time to show them around due to his responsibilities, Lily does the job instead and shows off all the attractions surrounding the stadium. To the girls only, because Ash just wants to see the battlefield. Vintage Ash. After a comedy scene of Team Rocket being scared that Beware might be somewhere around ruining their business, we see the boys arriving at the battlefield, absorbing all the atmosphere into them while also claiming that they will win the Alola League, followed up by a shield fist bump. And then one of them will leave the group and never look back. Who could that be? But enough of the future, let's talk about the here and now. And here's how!
Okay, so how does the story continue?
Well, here's how!
Come on, Long, just move on already!
And I did! Here's how!
Stop messing with me or else Oh.
God damn it, girl. Anyway, with the arrival of How, we basically get everything we expected from him. That he will enter the league, that he now has a Z-Ring, and that he now has a badass Decidueye. You know, I'm not really that angry that Ash doesn't have this cool looking Pokemon, and instead he has this goofy Rowlet, who only doesn't evolve because of something you can call half Vintage Ash and half a joke. But come on, man, just look at that Pokemon. God damn it, Ash. While Ash is cruising through the area together with How, the girls have a more relaxed walk through all the attractions, even though Shaman doesn't seem to be relaxed at all after seeing all those stuffed Shamans. To me, Shaman's face looks like it just witnessed his fellow comrades being trapped, murdered, and sold as tourist attractions. That was kinda dark. Maybe a refreshing juice can brighten up the mood. But it turns out that brother Ulu has returned and is selling those juices to the masses. But as soon as he heard that his little sister will take part in the Alola League, he decided to close the shop for a bit to cheer for his little sister. Oh, what a good big brother he is, isn't he, Marlo? Hey, don't look like that, girl. At least you and your brother have a healthy relationship, unlike the last league person with a brother involved. God damn it, I miss this asshole. Can we have like an asshole rival back instead of all these good guys? Anyway, with all the okay parts out of the way, let's talk about the thing I really didn't like about this episode. The Team Skull Grunts. Because they decided to wreck the league for their boss GUZMAS. And they do that by doodling on pictures, throwing garbage, causing numerous havocs, and battling against trainers. And they lose to everyone! They lose to both Gladion and Team Rocket off screen. And funnily enough, both had the same catchphrase after defeating Team Skull. And then they lose against Ash, Kiao, and How. And they didn't even include Sophocles into the mix. That right there, oh man, that right there just tells you how the league will end for this guy. And after this wasted time, we arrive at the last 5 minutes of the episode, and in my opinion, the best part of the episode, the arrival of Emperor GUZMAS. And as soon as GUZMAS arrives, the mood changes so much in both story and animation and art style aspect. Story-wise, we have GUZMAS announcing that he will enter and win the league, so that Kukui's dream will crumble, and that he will never do a Pokemon League again. Kukui being absolutely devastated, followed up by Hala revealing that both Kukui and GUZMAS were his former students. But GUZMAS just didn't agree with Hala's teaching, which reminded me so much of Garo from One Punch Man. Kukui showing regrets that he wasn't able to stop him, but when Ash proclaims that he will stop GUZMAS, and this overall total clash of principles between Ash and GUZMAS, I just love that. The episode ends with the reintroduction of Ilima from far away, Ash's reunion with Gladion, some good rival build-up between them, some cringe with Samson Oak, and the announcement of Royal Mask that the preliminaries will be in form of a battle royale. So that's it guys, and without any more hesitation, ratings. What can I say about the story? So this is the build-up episode to the Alola League, and to sum it up, it was both hit and miss. It started okay with the reintroduction of Hao and his new Pokemon Decidueye. The problem with Hao is just that you guys do realize that we only have seen Hao for one episode before he entered the league. Is one episode really enough to establish him on the same level as Gary, Paul, Sawyer and Alan when it comes to rival build-up with Ash? Of course not. What you normally do is to let the rival appear numerous times before the league starts to further establish him as a rival and to also show that he made progress. And to Sun and Moon's credit, they did do that by showing that he now has both a Z-Ring and a fully evolved Pokemon. But then again, you do that before the league and not at the beginning. And why didn't they do that? Because of the baffling rule of everybody can participate. And the result of that is you had to dedicate a training episode for each and every member of the group, which of course results in Hao not getting any screen time. So Hao was a victim of several conditions, but I'm at least happy that he's there. The people I really wasn't happy about hanging around and wasting screen time was the Team Skull Grunts. I do believe that their main purpose in the episode was to show how strong the league participants are by showing off their power against the Grunts. But the problem is that you showed both battles of the Grunts against Gladion and Team Rocket off screen. But in case of Gladion, it's not so bad since we know thanks to several episodes beforehand, unlike Hao, how much progress Gladion actually made throughout the series. And in the battle against Ash, Kiao and Hao, they basically one-shot them. On the one hand, it showed that the league guys are way stronger than just some mere Grunts. But on the other hand, why even wasting our time with the Grunts if they are such a non-factor and basically we're just there to artificially fill screen time? But thank God for the last 5 minutes of the episode with the intense dialogue and overall mood change caused by the relationship between GUZMAS and Kukui. That was excellent. And even though we also have seen GUZMAS for just one episode before the league, at least he now has been established better as a rival compared to Hao and Ilima. I'm just glad that Gladion is unscrewable. You can't screw up Gladion because he at least has been built up through the entire anime within several episodes. But as you can see, there were some good points in this episode and some really not so good points. But I have a little bias for that GUZMAS part, so I will give the story a 7 out of 10. What can I say about the focus? When you hear the title, The Curtain Rises, the Alola Pokémon League, the one thing you expect from this episode is of course some proper last dialogue between Ash and his rivals in the Alola League. Some more tension building between them while also showcasing how far they have come since the last time they met. And again, it was a mixed bag. Hao had some results but still doesn't really feel like an established rival. Ilima is basically a non-entity. Both Kiao and Gladion didn't show much, but at the same time wasn't that necessary. And in regards of GUZMAS, they concentrated more on his past rivalry with Kukui with some great tension. And I also like the clash of attitudes between Ash and GUZMAS at the end. But again, because of Ilima and Hao being both rivals of Ash, but at the same time there wasn't enough in this episode for me to take them seriously, I'll have to give the focus a 7 out of 10. Last but not least, animation. Since this is the build-up before the league, there doesn't really have to be any animation highlights in the episode. The ones which were there were actually really good, like Rowlet's seed bump and the flying animation between Decidueye and Zubat, and that's basically it. In regards of art style, I really liked how the art style slightly changed during the Kukui GUZMAS dialogue with a more darker tone, while also underlining that tone shift with the change in art style in regards of their eyes. So all in all, a pretty solid 7 out of 10. So this episode scores a solid 7 out of 10, and in my opinion, a good way to do a league build-up beforehand, even though it had some issues like Hao and the Team Skull Grunts, which easily could have been avoided before the league. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this review, and just like always, I see you guys in the comments down below. Bye guys!